Well, it's so good to be with all of you today. I've traveled a long way to just give you this message and maybe to tell you and share with you my story, but I know that most of you in here have probably heard my story. You probably think I'm an idiot. You probably think of all these terrible things of like, why would you do this? Why would you even consider taking this kind of lifestyle? And maybe I have a different way of showing you what God was speaking to me and the sign of my story and why it was so significant. My name is Hosea. How do you spell that? H-O-S-E-A. I'm Hosea. I was the prophet of Israel, right when Jeroboam II was reigning. And the cool thing about my story is that my story is rare. It's not like any other I've heard people tell me about or have told me how God spoke to their lives and how I've heard about these great people that God has used them in mighty ways. But my story is a little bit different. See, my story that I want to share with you is how I met my wife. So for all the single men, this might not be your story exactly the way you want it. And I might not even give you a sign of hope, maybe. But if you would bear with me, I think the real importance of how I met my wife is actually a greater significance indeed. During my life, I remember one time I just got back and I was washing up for dinner, and I remember I was about to enjoy a good supper. And I remember as I was about to enjoy this good supper, I remember, I was just about to go into my prayer, and all of a sudden God intervenes and decides to speak to me right in that very instant. This happens quite frequently. And I listened, and I almost thought I heard him wrong, but this is clearly what I heard him say, because I was the only one listening, and I was the only person in my house, and I heard him say, "Hosea, I want you to marry a prostitute. For this will show how Israel has been acting. They have turned their back against me and started worshiping other gods." In this brief moment, I spit out my food. God, what? Excuse me, God, hold up, time out. I may have not heard you right. Did you say you want me to marry a prostitute? God, I'm Hosea. I'm your prophet. A prostitute for a wife? Why do I, Hosea, your prophet, have to show what Israel is acting like by my actions? I'm just a prophet to proclaim your word. I'm just a prophet to declare what you're speaking to me. Why can't I just tell them they're acting like fools? Why do I have to marry a prostitute? Like, God, this isn't exactly what I had in mind. I know I'm single and I've been that way for quite a while, and I've just been focused, but a prostitute for a wife? God, really? I'm Hosea. Do you know what the people are going to think about me? Do you know what they're going to say? And I'm representing you. But, God, I am your prophet. And you know what? God, this isn't exactly what I had in mind, but I know you're telling me to do this, and tomorrow I will go out and I'll find a prostitute for a wife. I'll do it. I'm your prophet, and I need to be obedient. I will do this. I may not like it, but I'm going to trust you in it. The very next day, I went into the city and I looked around every corner. I searched and I was looking and didn't really see the one that God was calling me to. But then again, God said to choose somebody. So I said, okay. So I looked around a little bit more and I saw this one girl. She was actually the daughter of, some of you may know her. She has a pretty unique name. Her name is Gomer. She was the daughter of, I can't remember. Oh, that's right. She was the daughter of Dipleon. And she was beautiful. She was beautiful. I mean, she had brown hair, she had brown eyes, they would light up the room. Her smile was a little bit flirtatious, but she was indeed beautiful. And I remember going up to Gomer and remember just having a little conversation with her, and eventually, as the old saying goes, one thing led to another, and me and Gomer got married. We got married. And it was great. I was I was somewhat content. And then we started to go on, and we had our first child, baby boy. Yes, baby boy. And I was so excited and so anxious. And I was like, you know what? I can't wait to name this. Like, oh, this is gonna be exciting. And right as we get my firstborn son, I was about, yes. Now what should we name him? I think we should name him like Paul. No, that's where was I coming from? I don't know what to name. And all of a sudden God spoke to me again and said, Hosea, I want you to name him Jezreel. And I was like, okay. But God, isn't Jezreel a place where King Jehu murdered people? Yes, that's exactly the point, Hosea. I want you to name him because I'm going to bring independence to my people. And that one day, Israel will come out from the independence and I will bring an end to it. Okay. Some of y'all don't know. Do you know how hard it is to look at your firstborn child and tell him that he's been named after a place where a king murdered people? Do you know how my son also started to grow up and he started to discover this place? And remember one day he was like, Dad, I want to go to Jezreel. Because that place has my name on it. No, son, we're not going to go there. Actually, as a matter of fact, go to your room. You're grounded for 2 weeks. You're not even going outside to play. Just stay in your room. You're not even going outside. Of course, I'm joking. That never happened, guys. Let's it never happened. But it's so hard. Think about it. It was my firstborn child. And I have to name him after a place where I know was a place that King Jehu killed people and did his murders. Again, I am laying down something that's precious to me and something that's important to me because I just simply am going to live by the obedience that God told me to live by. I still don't have any idea what the point of all this is, but I just know that God has told me to do it, therefore I'm going to do it. So as life goes on, you can imagine how hard it was to be raised and going through my life with also a prostitute as a wife, but also a son who has a very bad name for a very bad distinction. But I decided to be obedient because that's to know who I'm, Hosea, and that's what I'm called to do. Then Gomer became pregnant again. Yay. And she gave birth to a daughter this time, so now I got a daughter. I was like, okay, maybe I'll be able to name this one. God intervened again. He said, no. Name her Lo-Ruhamah, which means, well, not loved. Do you know how hard it was to convince Gomer to name our child not loved? I mean, let's not separate the fact that, yeah, this is my daughter, but this is also her child as well. And I'll have to go to her and speak to her and say, hey, God has told us to name our daughter Lo-Ruhamah, which means not loved. And eventually I had to explain to her, okay, why? And I told her, I said, well, because God is pretty much saying he's saying that it's not the people of Israel anymore, but that one day, God did promise me that one day, Israel and Judah would soon become united, and they would come together. So it's not all bad, but it's just a sign and a message to bring to the people. They need to hear it. Eventually, Gomer came around after I slept on the couch for several nights by myself, but she came around, and we got through it, and it was great, and I got to see my kids raise up a little bit more, and then I had another child. I know, you guys are thinking, wow, how many kids are you going to have? Well, it just happened. And this time I didn't even hesitate to ask what I should name it. I didn't even think about naming it because I just knew God is going to provide this. He's going to tell me what he wants me to name this child. And this one, God told me, he's like, I want you to name it Lo-Ruhamah. Which means that God is saying, again, he's saying that this is not my people. And now I have a daughter's name not loved, not my people, and I have a son named Jezreel. I'm looking like a messed up family at this point in my life. When he said not my people, he reminded me again that one day that Judah and Israel would come together but that right now, he's not showing any compassion on Israel and what they are doing. I said, okay, God, I'll do it. I trust in you. I'm your prophet. And you know what? Life went on. Things with me and Gomer seemed great until that one night. I woke up and I look around and I don't see Gomer. So I ran into this one room and she's not there. I go into the kids' room. Kids are sound asleep. Gomer's not there. I go outside and I look around and she's not there. Gomer's gone. I'm a single dad at this point. 3 kids. Asking me where their mom is, and the only thing I can say is, I don't know. I feel like a failure at this point. I feel like I did something wrong. God speaks to me again in the softest voice and says, Hosea, go and love your wife again. Go, love her again. For she is in the arms of another man, but go and get her back. God, what? You're telling me to go back to get my wife, who's now left me and my kids, to go pursue her ways, and you want me to go back to her, find her and love her again after she tore me to bits and left me with 3 kids, and I have to go love her again? God, she's my wife, and you're telling me to go back and love her again, even though I feel like I was the one that messed up, and I'm the one that feels like a failure, and maybe, in fact, maybe it wasn't even me. Maybe it was her. But you want to go, and you tell me to go and love her again? Fine. I'll go. And I went into town, and I was looking through every corner, and I was looking until finally I went to this one place where prophets like me should not be in. I'm in a town where I'm a prophet of God, and people are seeing me walk in and be like, what are you doing here in the center of this marketplace? This isn't a place for godly people like you. Hosea, are you lost? No, I'm here to see my wife. Have you seen her? Gomer? Your wife? You mean your girl? Nah, man, we haven't seen her. I hope you find her, though. Yeah, thanks, man. I go on, and then I see her in the distance. And she has a price around her neck. And I remember just seeing it. I couldn't stand it, but something jumped out. I said, excuse me, that's my wife. And I'm here for her. The man said, I don't care who she is. She's property, and if you want her, you need to buy her back. Fine. Here's some silver. Here's some barley, and if that's not even good enough, there's some wine. But I just want my wife back. Just please get her back. And they hand me to her, and I remember I took Gomer's hands, and I looked at her, and I said, and I just restated our vow. Just felt what was needed. I said, you shall stay with me. You shall stay with me for many days. And you should give up your prostitutional ways. And you shall not be relational with any other man, as I will not do the same for you. My friends, I wish I could tell you that was easy. But that wasn't. I mean, it's my wife. The one who left my children. But yet I went back and purchased her and then reinstated our vows right in front of her after all the things I went through. After I gave her everything. I still was willing to give her more. Guys, I've been sent here today by God to tell you that you are His. That there's some of you in here that have ran away from God, and you may have gotten into a whole bunch of mess. You may even put yourself back on that slating block, saying, I'm worthless, and that maybe you're even saying that, well, Jose, you're lucky because your wife at least had a price tag. I feel worthless. At least she had a price tag. I don't even feel like I have even a price for my life. And I'm here to tell you that that is not true. That God calls you His child. And just like I went after Gomer, He's going after you. That you can run as far as you can, but God is coming after you. That He is willing to buy you with a price, no matter what it takes. He's saying, I want you. You are my child, and I love you, just like He did for Israel. Israel was acting up. They were turning their back against God, but He still showed His love. Just because it's love doesn't mean you get to do whatever you want, but love has accountability. And love has accountability to the extent that God's going to run after you and hope that He can take you to the next level because He's willing to give you something more than what you think you're already worth, like Gomer. You're worth something so much more. So today, friends, I ask you to run after God's unfailing love that is never ending and is always reliable. Because His arms are wide open and He's willing to have you back if you would only just run to Him. Thank you. Wow.